Good morning, this is Maria Mergelina and I'm going to present the implementation of a clil lesson within the field of arts in which we will use geometry to improve our learners' language skills. Our group is made up of 18 students that are in as a second year. Within this group, we can distinguish 3 tiers according to their language proficiency. Tier 1 students that need high support. Students who write short, basic sentences, often incomplete or unclear. They make grammatical mistakes and vocabulary errors that make understanding difficult. Tier 2 students, they need occasional support. They write complete sentences and express ideas clearly with some errors that don't affect comprehension. And Tier 3 students, who they have high autonomy. They write complete sentences with appropriate vocabulary and grammar. Communication is fluent. Concerning the forces of clil, our clil lesson is framed within the field of arts. The topic we presented in this lesson is geography and geometry construction. Geometry and geometric constructions, where learners will learn basic geometry concepts and tools that can be used to draw the geometric shapes that describe a landscape. Regarding content objectives, our learners will have to learn to identify basic geometric elements, shapes, and relationships, use appropriate tools, represent landscapes using geometry, and apply geometry to read and interpret the environment. With regard to language content, our learners will have to describe shapes and visuals by using structures such as there is, there are, comparison and contrast, explaining processes in which they will use imperative, comparing figures, they will use comparative and superlative, and giving instructions in which they will use imperative and modal verbs. Regarding coordination, our students will develop skills of comparing, describing, and giving instructions. Within communication, our learners will get involved with the language of learning. They will use terms for geometrical forms, elements, and tools, and the structures to describe shapes and visuals. There is, there are, have got, preposition, and place to compare figures, comparative and superlative, and to give instructions. They will use the imperative and the modal verbs must and should. Then, in the language for learning, our learners will be in touch daily with the basic classroom vocabulary and sentences, plastic art tools vocabulary, and collaborative discourse. And finally, regarding culture, our students will be exposed to different cultural geometric compositions so that they understand geometry as a universal language to express beauty, beliefs, identity, nature, and history by different cultures across the world and history. For our clil lesson, our learners will work in groups of 3 to 4 members. They will be assigned a file within Google Drive under the name of Performing Geometry with the name of their group, where they will find the instructions to carry out the final task. We will do 3 different activities. Activity number 1, spot the forms. Our learners will have to work in groups. Our learners will have to select a landscape to create geometric composition of it, the geometric composition of it. Our learners will brainstorm the shapes spotted, and they will agree on the ones they will use to represent the landscape. For this activity, we have created in the same file for Tier 1 students a shape bank so that they know the name and form of basic shapes. And for Tier 3 students, an alternative shape bank to provide them with advanced vocabulary regarding geometric shapes. They will suggest the colors that will be given to the different shapes and their meanings too. In activity number 2, students will have to assign their roles. Speaker, drawer, painter, and writer, and they will have to create a composition. Tier 3 students are recommended to perform speaker and writer roles. Speaker's task is to give instructions to writers and painters to use the tools and create the composition. And writers will have to write a short description of their composition by explaining the choices made to create these compositions. Drawers and painters follow instructions given by speakers and create the composition. Tier 1 students will be provided with shape templates so that they can have a full understanding of the instructions they will receive by speakers to draw the shapes. At the end of this activity, students will upload their compositions in a Padlet Word created to share their works. They will have to add a description for the composition too. In activity number 3, all compositions will be shared in Padlet, and students will have to grade other group's compositions by giving them stars. They will have to add at least 1 comment to a composition in order to give their opinion about it. For Tier 1 students, For Tier 1 students, we will offer a feedback box so that we can fill their blanks, so that they can fill their blanks when making comments. We will carry out a group discussion to reflect on how geometry can be used to describe landscapes, where learners will take note of the most important ideas, and they will have to write a short composition summarizing the main ideas. Tier 1 students will be provided with prompts and sentence starters so that they can use them for the discussion and final essay. They will be also provided with a substitution table to ensure comparison structures are correctly used. Finally, students will be required to fill in a questionnaire about geometry that includes visuals and videos for Tier 1 students so that we ensure full comprehension of the topic under consideration. Regarding formative assessment, we will use direct observation of the learner's performance during the lessons. We can use comprehension checks after introducing new content to connect it with previous knowledge, and watching frames for Tier 1-2 students to extract new ideas so that learners could make simple statements or chunks of information by using sentence starters or substitution tables about new information to frame that knowledge and transform it into organized insight. To conclude this presentation, we have to say that for this summative assessment, our students will be provided with a rubric before performing the final task so that they know exactly what they will be expected to accomplish and how with regard to subject content and language proficiency.